Alright guys, welcome back to Off-Axis Builds. We'll be working on finishing up the trunk area. Well, not really finishing up, but doing a little bit more tweaking to the trunk area. In the process of putting that rack and pinion in, I had to do some adjustments to the gas tank tray I made. I had to trim up both sides, and I'll show you that up front. I also had to do a little bit of fill welding because the way I had it originally mounted, that wasn't going to work with this new design. So anyways, I had to do a little fill welding, grind the welds down, and now I got to sand it down and paint it. Also got to do the alignment. Well, not really alignment. We're going to be working on the toe on the front wheels, getting it close so I can at least drive it around before I actually get it fully aligned. And I'll show you how to do that adjustment on the rack and pinion. And I'll also show you how to do the fine adjustment on how to get your wheels to turn the sharpest you can with this rack and pinion. In my case, I have it already set, but I'll show you the process on that. And I'll explain more when we get to it. I could not get any more out of it only because when the car is fully lowered, what are those things called? The arms, I guess, or not spindles, but the two steering arms would be hitting the shocks. Not really hitting it, just barely taps it. And that's only when the car is fully lowered and I crank the wheel over. Running down the road, I have plenty of room, so I could get a little more steering out of it, but I don't think I really want to push it. Anyways, let's hop on it. And remember, guys, to always like, comment, subscribe, and we'll get going here. All right, guys. Alright guys, so as you can see, I did a little bit of fill welding and grinding to grind down those welds. I wanted to get a little bit more of a gap on both sides so the carpet would actually fit down and underneath. So in the process of doing that, I also wanted to clean up this paint a little bit more. So basically what I'm going to do now is take it down. I'm going to actually sand, smooth these areas out a little bit more, and then get it ready for actual paint. I know I've painted it a few times in other videos, but I think this is going to be the finish paint. I also want to drill a few holes in here, so if any gas leaks, it can go down and down to the ground and not puddle in there and cause an issue inside the cab or just cause an issue down there. Also, if it rains, it'll allow the water to drain out. So, not that I should get any rain in here, but anyways. Let's go ahead and get going here. Remove some parts and start sanding it down. Alright, so first things first, guys. In order to do adjustment on the steering, I made it to where you loosen up these nuts on both sides, okay? One's left hand, one's right hand. Very easy to do, just like any other steering components. Now you just turn it in to shorten it, which will actually bring the wheel, backside of the wheel in, and if you lengthen it, it'll bring the backside of the wheel out, okay? So toe in, toe out. When I say toe in, the front part of the wheel is actually pushed towards the car, and that would be toe in. When I say toe out, the front part of the wheel is going to be pushed away from the car, okay? We'll go ahead and show you a exaggerated view of that. So let's get the camera set up so you can see that. Okay guys, so first off, you're going to want the wheel on the ground with the weight of the car on it. And the reason for that is because as the wheel goes up and down, that can change, and that's what's called bump steer, okay? So get the car in the neutral position. That's where you're going to be driving in the normal position. I have an air shock on here, so my car can actually be at any height that I want to. So right now, I'm just going to get it in a general position, okay? Right now, it's probably 2 inches higher than I'm going to be doing running the car, but that's not a big deal. You can get the idea of what to do. I'm actually going to be cycling this suspension through in this video to see how much bump steer I have as well after I set up the steering arms, okay? So in order to adjust these, you're going to turn it one way and you actually see the wheel. See the wheel moving? Okay. So you see the wheel turning out. And if I adjust the other way, which is shortening, if I turn it the other way, it's actually going to be shortening the rod, which will be turning the wheel in. Okay. Now, depending on the setup, I got to go back and look at the numbers. Depending on the setup, you do want a slight toe, and that's to help the car track. I can't remember exactly what those numbers are. I will find them for you. I want to say it's like 1 or 2%, or not 1 or 2%, 1 or 2 degree of inside you want to turn in, and that'll help keep the car straight. If you have them turned out, it helps the car, or doesn't help the car, it allows the car to wander a little bit more. So I've been told. I could be wrong by that, and I'll get the correct information on that. So anyways, I'm going to eyeball it for now because, like I said, I'm on air shocks and I'm not fully set where I'm going to be. Okay, first things first, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and set the car at the somewhat close to ride height so I can get the steering and everything aligned properly. So let's go ahead and get this car up off the blocks and then lower back down. It's probably going to be ride height, roughly, I want to say about 3 inches off the ground. Right now I'm sitting about 5 inches off the ground. With it fully slammed, I could have it all the way. Actually, this sway bar could be touching the ground. It's about a ½ inch off. But I plan on having it about 3 inches off to get some suspension. So let's go ahead and lower the car down and get it close to where it should be, okay? Alright guys, so this is the point where I'm going to make my wheel adjustment, okay? Let me get the blocks out of my way. So right now I'm just eyeballing them, and the wheel's actually out. So let's bring those in. Now, first off, you do want your steering wheel in the neutral position as well. You want it in the upwards position, okay? I've already taken the measurement from here to a certain point and here to a certain point. that's exactly where it should be. So now I just have to do the adjustment on the wheels, which still needs to come in. Okay, that's all the way out. We'll get a piece of tape on the ground and see what it does. Alright guys, so now let's go ahead and lower the car all the way down and see what this wheel does. Okay, currently that tape is in line with the wheel. Actually, you know what? Alright, let's go from there. So did that wheel turn in? Sure did. So that is how much toe we have, or not toe, but how much bump steer we have during suspension travel. It looks like it's going to be, you know, quite a bit. So let's see what we can do to fix that. Alright guys, so I've played around with the caster shims. Originally when I was lowering this, I put 2 caster shims in there. I don't know if you can see them, they're right there. There's 2 in there. And what that does is change the angle of your front beam to be pushed forward a little bit more. The reason why you do that is when you have a really steep rake on your car, you want to add those things in. So originally I put those things in because, well, I lowered it 2.5 inches in the front, and well, now I'm getting ready to do all my steering. Obviously I have my rack in there and that guy. Getting a lot of bump steer. So I took those out. I even tried putting one on the top to change the angle the opposite direction, which is not a good thing to do. From what I've been told is when you do that, it makes the car a little more twitchy. When you put the ones on the shims on the bottom, it makes the car a little more stable. So I put them back in on the bottom. But what I was noticing when I was doing my research, most people were saying that this bar here and that bar there need to be almost straight to the connecting point, okay? And as horizontal or level as you can. So I think at this point what I'm going to do is take that piece of metal right there, the aluminum piece, I'm going to extend it out. So right now that's about 6 inches. I'm going to extend it out another 6 inches. So that'll be almost straight, okay? I'm also going to do another thing here. You notice it's leaning up, okay? So what I'm going to do is come up, and then I'm going to flatten it out and come back the rest of the way. So it's not leaning the whole way. So it'll come up and then follow that frame horn a little bit more. So I think that's my next step here. I'm going to go ahead and get that piece of aluminum made and installed, and then we'll see if that fixed the bump steer. So like I said, with the shims in, I had these wheels straight. lifted the cart and they went out almost a good inch from front to back. It just went out, and then when I lowered it back down, it came level again, or straight again. So I think that's the conclusion I've come up with, and I'll show you more once I get that bracket made and see if that fixes the problem. All right, guys. Alright guys, so I'm just going to clean up some of the areas that I welded and ground the paint back and smooth out some of the other areas that I had runs before. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, thanks for watching another episode of Off Axis Builds. Tried to explain bump steer the best I could from the knowledge that I have. Basically, I was not able to get the bump steer out of the front end, which didn't make me too happy, but just got to do a little redesign of the whole front end. So like I said, what I'm going to try to do is get that those two control arms more perpendicular to the spindles and more level to the spindles as well. So hopefully that they would be, you know, just going straight in and out and not at a weird angle. Okay. So I'm hoping that will help. So got to get a new piece of aluminum and shape it, and then we'll go from there. Remember guys, to like, comment, subscribe, and always check out my new merch that I have. Got a link down below. Remember guys, it's always built, not bought. See you in the next one.